Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to this Tuesday edition of the Football Lounge. We have no Cunt tonight because his computer is after putting in Aston Villa and flopping. But I am joined by Ross and Frank. How are we doing, gentlemen?
What we doing? Feeling superb. Carabao Cup winners. We're here. Champions. Certain people can't relate. Ross. Anyways, how are you doing, Ross?
Hello to all the beautiful viewers out there, and goodbye, because it seems I've been axed from this. No, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing great actually. Villa finally won on the weekend after losing three in a row. We won. We got 3 points against Everton. Up the Villa. We're back.
Oh, yes, indeed. And of course, we are very happy because Ten Hag has delivered silverware in the first 6 months of his tenure. The bald genius. What a man. Bald is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. But I do want to say hello to Cullum and his poor Aston Villa computer, who we wish a speedy recovery to. But lads, Chelsea, they're in a spot of bother as of late. And it looks like maybe Professor Bowley might be saying Avara Kedavra to young Potter and sending him outdoor. We're going to speculate as to just how much pressure is on him, and we do have a few bits and pieces to take care of before we do that. And the first one is our partnership with Wraith. Please use code FTSN22 for 10% off. Wraith is a powdered energy drink, which is an alternative to those off-the-shelf energy drinks that you can buy. And its non-carbonated formula, which is dissolved in water, is a much healthier alternative to those drinks. So if you want to give it a try, use code FTSN22. Thank you very much. Now, I just want to bring up a few tweets just for you to have a look at, gentlemen. The first one is from #PotterOut, and he's saying, at Todd Bowley, from celebrating the UCL to this, do one and bugger off back to America. Football is far more than your narrow American mind can ever comprehend. We know all about Americans anyway, don't we, Frank? But the next one is, I was so emotional after the game against Tottenham. I can't believe I tweeted #PotterOut. I still believe Potter has what it takes. So a bit of division in the fan base. Another one is the one of the Chelsea fans has turned up for the Potter-out protest, and he's showing that there's nobody there. Bye for now, Chelsea. After 34 years of loyal support, I can't watch anymore. Graham Potter, I've never done this to any other manager, and we've had bad times before, but this is too much. So he's looking for Potter to be sacked, and I'm just going to bring up a few more there that you can have a look at. And I want your opinion. Does this look like a certain well-known TV presenter?
Is that James Corden?
Yeah, that's what we were all wondering. Is that James Corden? Because he does look like the bulb off him, doesn't he?
Well, now we know what he does on his day offs.
But I think everybody thought he was not a Manchester. Was it a West Ham fan? Everybody thought he was.
West Ham, yes.
But it seems he has a doppelganger present anyway. And if Ollie, if those were your tweets, thank you for putting them up and letting us borrow them. But Frank, I'm going to start with you. Has Potter got the tools and the skill set to turn this around? We've seen evidence of massive turnarounds before. Arteta looked like he was heading for the exit gate, and now they're leading the top of the Premier League. Can Graham Potter do the same?
Well, I think Chelsea fans have to endure a season of Graham Potter until the next, because they've already invested too much into this project of Graham Potter and this under-25 super team that they claim to supposedly have. The results may not show that Potter is the man, but last season, the results didn't show that Arteta would be in the position he is now. So Chelsea fans just have to endure. I understand that the the hierarchy at Chelsea, still stick with Potter. But the growing pressure is there. Losing to London rival Spurs, that was a big deal. I don't that now has to be addressed with the game against Leeds. They have to get points there. Potter has to have some form of momentum going on to the rest of the season, proceeding on to next. But yeah, and things can change also if they were to continue to lose, because I don't think they would stand this, but they have to now because the money has been invested. That's a lot of money into this team.
Absolutely. Now, you're both friends with a Tottenham Hotspur fan, and he had the big smile on his face when they done Chelsea out in the schoolyard at the weekend. Given the way Tottenham have been performing as of late, they've been blowing hot and cold, and given that Enzo Fernandez, Mudryk, and amongst others came in that January window, just how underwhelming and goal shy even have Chelsea been, because they've only had 6 goals since November. Manchester United have had 50.
That's very sad. I think João Felix is the only player from Chelsea to have scored this month. That just tells you how they just lack goals. And defensively, they keep losing key players. This weekend, they lost Thiago Silva. A few weeks ago, they didn't have Reece James and Ben Chilwell. So those are big assets to their team and how they play going forward as well as defensively. So Chelsea just have to, with the new players they have, they shouldn't have problems with players being injured. But at the same time, those players aren't well accustomed to the league as of yet. So yeah, big problems at Chelsea.
Their goal of the month must be very easy to pick.
Indeed it is.
I was going to ask you, Ross, about the goalkeepers. They have 2 very expensive goalkeeping acquisitions in Kepa and Mendy. Mendy has been cast out of favour as of late by Potter. Are they keepers that can, I suppose, give a platform defensively to Chelsea, or are they, unfortunately, like many keepers in Premier League, just out of their depth?
No, I don't think so. I think that both keepers are really good. They're really good goalkeepers. If we look at what Mendy did for Chelsea last season, he just solidified his stereotype as being a shot stopper. That's what he is. He's a good goalkeeper, and he puts keeping balls out of the net as his priority. He doesn't fit under the Graham Potter playing style where he likes to come in and act as a fit defender. It's not him. We've seen him try, but he gets caught out with mistakes more often than Emi Martinez at the moment at Aston Villa. So that must be saying something. And as for Kepa, when he first came to Chelsea, a lot of people likened him to David De Gea when he first went to United. They said, okay, he has a skinny Spaniard. He's not built up enough for the Premier League. He will have some sort of mistakes and he will be prone to errors. We saw that. The only thing that made it a lot more intense was the price tag on Kepa's head, which led him to a lot more scrutiny than normal. But we see now, as of late, he is definitely more technical than Eduardo Mendy, with his playing out from the back and also having that awareness for danger and coming to sweep up and help the defenders, which is always a great thing to have. Both are really good goalkeepers, as I've said. I think Kepa would be the one going forward under Graham Potter. I don't see Chelsea getting another goalkeeper that's available on the market that could be immediately better, that would fit the playing style. But I do see Mendy having to go and be shipped out if he's not happy with sitting a second choice. And why would he? He's a good goalkeeper.
So, is what you're saying about Mendy, would he be better suited to somewhere like, say, an Aston Villa that chips a lot more goal chances, that would be more reliant on a top quality shot stopper in order to keep their arses out of the fire?
No, I don't think so, because, well, Emi Martinez, as of last night, has been voted the best goalkeeper in the world. And that's a huge privilege for us. And I want to say congratulations to him. And Villa took a huge punt on Emi Martinez when we bought him from Arsenal. I mean, He had not had a lot of Premier League experience. He was just sitting on the bench at Arsenal, rotting his career away. And we gave him a lifeline, and equally, he put us on the map as well. So I'm eternally grateful to Emi Martinez, and I'll always be happy with him no matter what mistake he makes. But funny enough, I think Mendy would be a good replacement for Hugo Lloris at Spurs. Lloris is coming to the end of his career, and Lloris has been making a lot of mistakes lately, and I can see his contract not being renewed. And he would actually be really good. He's got that height on him. He's a lot taller than Lloris, and he actually would play really well. We see a lot of chances that Spurs concede are from corners or crosses. And Mendy is renowned for being able to collect those with ease, just based on his height and jumping reach. So I think that his ideal move, if he were to move somewhere in the Premier League, would be to Tottenham Hotspur.
Interesting choices. Is Todd Boy, though, going to resist fan pressure and hold on to Harry Potter, aka Graham Potter? Or do you think he'd look for a bit of breathing room, sack the manager, and then give himself a bit of time to regroup to keep the fan base from the door? Because we have seen the contrast amongst the Twitterverse that some of them are in favour of sacking him and others aren't. But the question is, if they were to sack him, who would you bring in there to do a job? Because there doesn't seem to be that many top-class managers available.
No, go on, Frank. Answer this. I want to hear your opinion on this.
Well, to sack Graham Potter would essentially mean to scrap the whole idea of having him as the man to lead you to the new era of Chelsea football. Because that's what essentially he is. He was brought in to lead this young team of superstars into the next era of Chelsea football. I don't know what the stats are exactly, but everyone there is under the players that they want to make in the main team, right? Because there's still Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva there that are reasonably old. The players that they have there average around the age of 24, 25, right? That they brought in. And those players didn't come cheap. Enzo didn't come cheap. That's a World Cup winner, proven player, right? They want to make him the lead of the midfield. They still need to get a striker. They brought in João Felix on loan. It could be a permanent. Don't know how the summer will pan out for him. But the players they brought in, then they all have to be led by Potter. So to scrap him, to take him out, now you have to find another person to lead you. And there's not many managers available in the market, right? So that's a very tricky point for Chelsea. What are your views on that, Ross?
Okay, I'm going to try and dissect this in less than 5 minutes, just on my opinion. Hopefully I make sense here. Let's go all the way to the beginning of the season, right? You still had Thomas Tuchel, and this is a manager that won the Champions League with Chelsea. It's a big deal. I mean, he beat Man City in the final. He guided Chelsea through that. So nobody really expected Chelsea to be favourites for that, for the Champions League that season. Now, you back the manager after Todd Boehly's taken over from Roman Abramovich. They backed the manager. They've taken a lot of money out and invested it into the club and spent a hell of a lot, only for in a couple days or a week later to sack the manager. For me, that's the first red flag. That's when I first thought the chairman here and the owners specifically, whether it's Clear Waters or Todd Boehly, whoever else is actually in charge of these decisions. That's when I first thought, I don't think these guys actually understand what they're doing here. You've funded the manager, then you've sacked him. Fine. Now they've brought in Graham Potter. They know that Graham Potter is a good manager because of what he did with Brighton. I mean, we didn't think Brighton would last a season in the Premier League. Not only has Brighton lasted that season, he took them to being European contenders. For a small club like Brighton, that's insane. And he did that under a budget that's no bigger than your shoe. That's insane, right? Now, great manager, great English manager, brought him in, tried to change the ethos of the club, and Todd Boehly said specifically that he's changing the way that Chelsea go forward, where they just sack managers in a quick fire rate when things don't go well. So they back them. Okay. Now Graham Potter sitting with players that were bought in by Thomas Tuchel and his coaching staff that he doesn't necessarily agree with. What does he do? He requests for more transfers. Some of the new signings weren't even his choice. Some of them were Todd Bowley just trying to flex his muscles. I mean, there was rumors at one stage that Ronaldo was going to come in. And that doesn't make sense either, right? Obviously, Ronaldo didn't come, but some of the signings were Graham Potter's choice. Some weren't. Now you've sat with a huge squad because they didn't offload a lot either. I think the most notable signing they did get rid of was Werner. And who else? And who else really? Besides, obviously, Christensen was released and Marcus Alonso before the season started. But that's got nothing to do with Graham Potter. The point I'm trying to make is they're sitting with such a bloated squad. Graham Potter can't get his points across, and he feels like that most of the training sessions get undermined because there's so many different personalities of top-class players, world-class players, in fact, that all have an ego because of how much they're getting paid, how much they are worth, and they're not gelling because there's a huge sense of individualism throughout the squad. I think João Felix, like Frank said, is probably the best player they got at the moment. And it's only because he's gone through that Diego Simeone introduction and he understands what it's like to sacrifice his individual quality to be for the best for the team. If you look at that squad right now, they're so short in defensive numbers, but the attacking numbers are staggering. You talk about the quality of players they've got there. Aubameyang, Sterling, Kai Havertz. Brozier's obviously injured now for a long term. He'll be coming back hopefully in a couple months. They got Mudryk, and I've seen Mudryk play, and I know he's a really good player if you play to his strengths. But they've got all these star players and nobody to actually do the hard yards. Like, I'm sure as Manchester United fans, you'll understand you need those Michael Carricks, your Darren Fletchers in the squad to actually do those hard runs to make the other players that have star quality shine. And that's not even to mention that Lukaku's coming back at the end of the season. Now what? Now what? I think Chelsea have dug a huge hole for themselves, and they've got no choice but to stick with Graham Potter for another year. Another year, not even a season, another year at least. Because if they fire him now, you've now gone through one season where you've sacked two managers, spent a record amount of money, huge squad, and no identity.
No identity is something that Manchester United fans are all too aware of. That's what we were crying out about for the last number of years. And it might be critical that Graham Potter gets a proper director of football sitting above him to make proper footballing-based decisions that will fit his structures. Because, as you said, it looks like Taboli went out and blew his wad on players just to make an instant impact. Whether or not they made Potter's system work or not didn't seem to factor. But you mentioned Ronaldo, Ross, and that brings us to topic 2. It'll be a shorter topic, but all the same, I do want to mention it. There is talk in the media in the last 24 hours that Cristiano Ronaldo could be due a League Cup winners medal. I'm going to start with you, Frank. It could be tongue-in-cheek, but does he deserve it? Because I think he did appear in the League Cup for us.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Also, Dubravka, who now is in Newcastle, also played a part in the League Cup run-up towards the final in United. So both players can feel as if they deserve trophies. I mean, the medals, the winners' medals. I mean, Ronaldo didn't leave on the best of terms, but he still played a role in the team leading to the trophy. So I think, just give him the medal, then end ties, because we moved on from him and everything he came with. So just give him the medal and then we move on. Him and Dubravka, it's fine. They had their short story, their cameo appearances in the club. We can now focus on the new era of Ten Hag.
And I suppose, the one thing it would complete, though, Frank, is it would mean that Cristiano Ronaldo, every club that he went to, he's won something. And that would make the lineage continue because he would technically have won the League Cup.
I mean, he did say that he doesn't chase the records chase him. So I guess that's another point that will remain standing for in his career. So yes,
I,
yes,
I, d-
yes.
I do want to hit a few comments. Colin was being talked about Graham Potter being a great manager, and that Todd is another American issue for the Premier League. But in regards to Cristiano Ronaldo, he's saying stuff his medal, he held United back. Ross, over to you.
I'll answer this pretty simply in a sentence. If you give Dubravka a medal, you got to give Ronaldo a medal. That's my stance on it.
And just curious, when do you expect the next time an Aston Villa player will lift a trophy? Will it be before or after Spurs?
Well, if we get relegated and we lift the playoff trophy again, then it would be pretty soon. Hopefully not too soon, because I want to see us stay in the Premier League for a while. But you know what? I think under Unai Emery at the moment, we are heading in a really good direction. Unai Emery is a cup specialist. You're talking about a manager that's won the Europa League a record number of times. That's so enlightening. It actually warms every Villa fan's heart to know that the club on paper is going in the right direction. And I'm really excited to see what the next transfer window brings. Hopefully we can shift out some dead weight, or dead wood really, and get some new players in that are going to rejuvenate the squad and hopefully alter the ethos and push on to get a trophy.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now I'm going to come to the final topic of the day. I know it's FA Cup week, so I'm going to put you both on the spot and we're going to do some FA Cup predictions. First game, Stoke Brighton. Who are you picking?
Stoke.
I'm going with Brighton. I like to see Premier League teams show that they're higher class caliber and they can have great cup runs.
Excellent. Leicester Blackburn.
Leicester.
I think Leicester need a trophy this season. Well, a strong cup run.
Fulham Dirty Leeds.
Fulham on
Silva's had a good
penalties.
season, so I'll back Fulham on this one.
And finally, Bristol City, Man City.
It'd be a
Bristol.
cracker if Bristol City won.
I'm going
I don't
Bristol.
like City. Bristol City all the way. Bristol City all the way.
So tomorrow's games, Southampton versus Grimsby.
Oh, Southampton.
Isn't that's a local rivalry, isn't it?
Could be.
I think
My English geography isn't that strong, I'll be honest with you.
I know Grimsby is also a seaside club. I just don't know how close it is to Southampton. But I think that is a little mini derby there.
Then Burnley versus Fleetwood Fleetwood.
Burnley, Lyle Foster, the South African. He'll represent.
Wow. Yeah, yes, I've got South African, yes. Burnley all the way.
Manchester United versus Moisey FC, West Ham.
Non-contest. United all the way. Another cup.
Man United.
Sheffield United
think about it.
versus Buckingham Hotspurs.
Ooh.
Spurs.
Interesting.
Yeah, might as well Spurs, yeah.
And overall, who is winning the FA Cup?
Ten Hag, another trophy on the cards. He wins the double in his first season. Allow it.
Ross is thinking.
Yeah, because I think Man City will get knocked out by Bristol. I think Spurs. I think Spurs could go all the way.
Spurs to win a title.
I think so. Or, hey, win a cup, not a title.
To win a cup. Still, this is not the Audi Cup, Ross. This is not some preseason thing. This is the real thing. It's FA Cup.
The Audi Cup momentum will take them into the FA Cup.
No, I don't see it. Ten Hag, we believe.
Yeah. Interestingly, there isn't a lot of big teams left in the FA Cup. There has been quite a few major knockouts, and arguably the biggest teams left at this point are Manchester United, Manchester City, and Tottenham.
I don't see Tottenham winning it, I really don't.
You don't have to see it. You can just smell it. You can taste it, drink it in.
It's
It's
between the
coming to
Manchester
London.
Not even. Not even.
On a lighter note, though, so after the FIFA's Best Awards last night, Lionel Messi has won the FIFA Men's Best Player in 3 decades, 2009, 2010s, and now in the 2020s. Rebel, I want to know, what do you feel about it? How do you feel about the GOAT still being the best at the top level? What's your opinion?
Now, this is an interesting debate because I think it's very hard to compare the current crop of players with the legends of the past. Your Diego Maradonas, your Peles, your Georgie Best, your Eto's, even even though he's more recent, these training regimes that are available to players now. If that was available to Eto, he might have been even light years beyond the incredible player that he was. Wea, another absolutely fantastic player. Gabriela Batistuta. There's so many top quality players that didn't get to enjoy the facilities that the modern day footballer gets. But you have to take your hat off to Lionel Messi. What he's achieved in his career is nothing short of incredible. There's still a few things that have eluded him, but not much in the game. And you just have to tip your hat and say, well done.
And you, Frank, I know it took you a while to come around the Ronaldo corner and breathe in the Lionel Messi greatness. Tell me,
I've always
what do you
been a
think?
Ronaldo fan. It took a long while to accept that Messi is the better player.
But you don't have to. You don't have to hate one to love the other one. Like, I appreciate both. I just appreciate Messi more.
Well, he is a phenomenal player. 7 Ballon d'Ors, Golden Boots. He's always the best player in most tournaments, in most leagues. He's a difficult player to ignore. And he rightfully earned the FIFA Best Player award, right? The World Cup. Ooh, there was a GOAT debate between Ronaldo and Messi in the World Cup. That was ended quickly. Not even 3-2 games. It was done. Messi just was the better player. Is the better player, and yes, his career has been phenomenal.
Absolutely. Now, there's one final question that I'm going to ask. And Ross, you posed this question. What player above anyone of all time would you have loved to see gracing the Premier League in their prime?
Frank, you start. Just in case you took my player.
In their prime. Well, I like my strikers, So I like attacking. Oh, that's interesting shouts, but no. I'd love to see. He's a modern player now, still playing the game. Vinny Jr. I'd love to see Vinny Jr. He's not in his prime yet. He's still young. I think he's only 22, 21. But that player, what a player he could be. I think he's going to be top 3 best players in the world. Right? And to have him playing in the Premier League, a player of that stature, right? That would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal for the league.
And who do you think he would actually play for?
Vinny Jr. I don't think he did gel well in Man City because he's more direct. City like to pass the ball, right? Like their wingers to be. I think he do well in the Arsenal. I think he do well in the Arsenal. I think Martinelli has no chance. He's benching to win. Sad to say, Arsenal fans, but yes, Vinny Jr. will just be levels in the league.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I was going to say Arsenal as well. And my pick, I was looking back in time and I was just thinking, reminiscing about players that made me fall in love with the game.
Mm.
And two came to mind. The first one I thought about, no. Okay, I'll pick one. I can only pick one. Let me not
Ain't
be
gonna pick
unfair.
one.
I only pick one, and it was a tough one. I would love to have seen Ronaldinho play in the Premier League.
Ronaldinho. You think
I
he'd
would have.
fit well with the physicality of the league and his Jenga
That's what
style?
it's about. That's what it's about. You want to see if they can actually pull it off. I mean, if JJ Okocha could do it at Bolton, then I
Ooh.
don't see any reason why Ronaldinho couldn't. I'll be honest. Growing up, I'm sure you all have memories of the first footballer that are just stuck in your mind. We all grow up, we watch football, yeah, we love a team, we see some good things here, but there's always that one player that sticks in your head. And growing up, myself and Frank, when we were growing up, the internet started just taking off, and YouTube just started becoming a thing. I remember having an old Nokia phone and Bluetoothing football videos that were like super cool between our friends. And the first video that I got that just stuck with me was seeing a Ronaldinho skills compilation. Oh my word. I thought life had peaks. I thought, how is this guy doing this, man? Players are going right, left. He's going the opposite way. He's doing things I never thought you could do. And even if you could do it, how can you make players fall for that? Honestly, it was. I think I would love to have seen him play in the Premier League just to prove that he could do it in a more physical league. I think that'd be great.
Okay, interesting choices, gentlemen. I suppose I want to give honourable mentions to Maldini, Cafu, Batigol, Baggio, Inzaghi, and Del Piero. All players that would have been lovely to watch doing their craft in the Premier League. But I've mentioned this player already. Actually, another honourable mention to R9, FTSN Column coming in with that choice. I mentioned the player that I would have loved to see tear it up in Premier League already, Samuel Eto'o. I think he would have been insane playing in Premier League.
Where Eto'o was there? He was with Everton.
But it wasn't in his prime. That's the
Prime Eto'o.
Eto'o came back from Barcelona days.
Yeah. Eto'o cooking. Literally, absolutely doing mad things. That Eto'o. Not Eto'o that was coming from one last paycheck.
Oh, yes. But in which team, though, Rebel? Which team would you feel Eto'o would be at his best in the Premier League?
I think, as much as I hate to say it, he'd have cooked an Arsenal's team.
Oh, we all rate Arsenal. Okay.
No, I think he would. I think he would have fitted well in there, like in that Thierry Henry role, but maybe Thierry going a bit wider, cutting in.
All right.
Ooh. I'm gonna put you on the spot here now, Rebel. Prime Drogba or Prime Eto'o?
Oof.
Oh, that's a horrible question. I think, even just thinking, which one of them would have plugged into Ten Hag's team now? Drogba. Drogba would do madness in Ten Hag's team now, leading that line. He would be unplayable.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with you.
But gentlemen, it is FA Cup night. People are wanting to be away to their television sets. I know the sun is setting over there and your eyes are getting heavy, Ross. So I want to thank you for joining me tonight. It has been a great conversation. I think the overarching decision from the panel is that Potter needs to be given the time and Todd needs to keep his wand in and not be expelling Potter from Chelsea Football Club. But from us here in the Full-Time Sports Network, please do stay tuned for Ollie and his show. I think it's coming up at about 8:30. It should be absolutely hilarious. But from us, good night, God bless, and see you soon.